All right, 2 days left. Um, Day two, this is. One more of these, and then we're in for surgery. So, what has happened today? Well, today has been another reasonably busy day, and I didn't intend it to be. I was up at the crack of dawn trying to sort out some of the accounts type stuff so that my second in command knows what she's doing and that everybody still gets paid and all that sort of thing. I think they're pretty much there, and I also spoke to my accountant and asked him to keep a little eye on her and keep a little eye on the business and make sure they're all okay whilst I'm not there, because I just don't know what I'm going to be like, and I don't know if I'm going to be wanting to talk to anyone. And then what happened after that? Pool. Yes, pool. I went to the swimming pool. Of course I went to the swimming pool. And another 2k was done, and we're down to 44 minutes. It's a shame really, because I'm just about getting my mojo back. My first 2k swim, after having not swum for about 4 months because of all the previous surgeries and all that sort of thing, it was 52 minutes. We're now down to 44. So it's a shame really that I'm just about to have to stop again. I've only got one more day's swimming left, and then I've got to go to Dunedin tomorrow lunchtime. So I've got one more shot at it. And the next time I'll be adjusting my balance because I'll have lost a leg and my flotation will be all different. So the swimming was really cool. I'm still not totally sure I know how I'm going to get out of the pool without the hoist, and I'm not entirely sure I want to use the hoist, but more of that later. Then I tried to get a hold of the hospital. Now, I'm one of those people who likes to try and control everything, and I don't think it's going to actually work in this regard. I'm quite concerned about the pain afterwards because I'm allergic to opiates, and I wanted to know what they're planning to do for the pain control. But it seems I can't find out the answer to that question because they won't talk to me about that until after the surgery. So I'm trying to shelve that little piece of anxious because it's really bugging at me because I'm worried about that. But then I suppose pain is only temporary and it's only going to last, the worst of it I'm expecting to be a couple of weeks perhaps, and then it'll improve from there. Some people have said that they've been completely pain free. So perhaps that'll be me, and maybe they'll actually find a magic wizard wand to control the pain. I don't know. So I gave up on that idea because it was not obviously going to work, and I'm going to have to trust in the hands of the surgeons, and they know what they're doing. So, step aside, control freak Mel, and we'll try and do something different. So then, what happened after that? Uh, Peer support. That was it. I was contacting peer support because that's a reasonably new service that's been set up in New Zealand. Amputees talking to other amputees about their fears and that sort of thing. Now, I have spoken to them briefly in the past, and this was way back before I even knew this was going to be an outcome. But I contacted them again, and he phoned me up at lunchtime today. Now, the guy that's the regional coordinator is also an amputee, and it was actually really good to speak to the both of them because, you know, as it gets closer, I'm feeling more and more terrified, and I'm really beginning to feel quite stressed and anxious inside. So it was good to talk to someone else who has been through it, and two different people with two completely different outlooks, talking about the sorts of things that I should expect, and the fact that one of them was at a hospital in a couple of weeks, up and walking around in a couple of days. Now, hope that is me because I will be chomping at the bit to get back to the pool. The second person I spoke to thought that I should be well healed in time for Challenge Wanaka, and she didn't think that would be a problem. So that was quite nice. And she came round to see me at the house. Now, she is a below the knee amputee, and it was not elective. But she did say that once she got her prosthetic leg, she never hardly uses the wheelchair at all. It folds up in the cupboard. And that really made me feel better because I want to be that person. I don't want to be the person that's in the chair looking physically disabled and looking at the world from 3 feet below, because I'm used to being really tall and looking at the world from 6 foot up. So having to sit down in a chair and everything happen above my head is, I've mentioned it before, is feeling quite stressful. So the fact that she said that she doesn't use the chair anymore now she's got the leg was quite good. But she did say that it took about up to 2 years to feel normal again after having given a prosthetic. Now, you really wouldn't know when she got out of her car and walked towards me. You wouldn't know. And her car's cleverly adapted, so she drives with a left leg pedal, with a pedal under her left leg instead of her right. And it's adaptable, so her husband can drive normally as well. So there's lots of really cool things that I don't even know that are associated with being an amputee, and all the things that they are able to do and adapt and make and build and all them sorts of things. So I feel a little bit more reassured that life can be normal again, having heard it from two people who actually have been through it. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that the surgery is terrifying. She said that looking at your leg afterwards, she said that you do it in your own time. And so I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about that. And I don't know whether it's something I'm going to have to do straight away to get it over with, or whether, I'm not sure. We'll have to see how I feel afterwards, because that feels quite terrifying to me too. You know, that your foot's not there anymore. Speaking of which, I'm actually making a video, an ode to the foot, and I'll show that to you tomorrow. So yeah, I've got lots of anxiousness and lots of fears. And there's lots of uncertainty, but it's all completely normal. I've been reassured, and the terror and the crying and the shouting and all of that are all completely normal, and everybody has been through it. So I'm feeling reassured. Doesn't make me feel better because I still feel bloody terrified, but it makes me feel a little bit reassured. And she said that I could call a peer support. She'd come around and talk to me anytime. She'd come around and talk to me a couple of weeks after when I'm back home again. So it's good to know that I've got that, and I can talk to someone who knows what I'm saying and knows what I'm going through. That's really important, and I've already offered myself as peer support after I've got through the surgery, because I want to be that helpful person to someone else too. And it was also good to talk to someone who was similar age, because usually loss of a limb is either traumatic random age or something circulation based that's age related, and everybody's a lot older. And everybody in the vascular department that I've been to so far have all been a lot older. So it's good to talk to somebody who's a similar age that has similar experiences with regards to the fears that come with it. Now, what else did I do? I went to the Disability Resource Centre. Someone on one of the amputee Facebook groups suggested I get one of these. Now, I think it's actually a really good idea, because have you ever tried to bend over and pick something up whilst only standing on one leg? I fear I might faceplant, especially when I'm trying to do it on the knee replacement leg, which is a bit wibbly wobbly anyway. So I'm glad I got one of these. I think it might be quite helpful. They also put me in contact with the Amputee Association. I didn't even know there was an Amputee Association and that you could be a member. So I'm waiting for a call back from them as well. It's difficult to know what sort of supports are in place, because I've never had to, rotate in these circles before. So it's all a massive learning curve, but it's keeping my mind occupied. So I suppose that's a positive. Then I had 2 lunch dates because, everybody wants to be with me. I had a lovely lunch date with 2 friends, and I didn't eat lunch twice because bloody hell I couldn't. And they wanted to know what was going to happen and what is the time frame and what happens from here. So I thought that I would explain it so that you know. So roughly speaking, this is what I'm expecting. So the surgery is on Thursday. Now, multiple people have contacted me to make sure that I have not changed my mind and that I do want to go ahead, and that I'm in the right headspace, and that I've made a rational decision. And it's good to know, because you wouldn't want people randomly having their legs chopped off for no reason. So I know why the health system has to do that. But the surgery's on Thursday morning. I've been told to report there at 8 a.m. and I'm second on the list. So I'm expecting maybe 9, 10 o'clock in the morning surgery. I believe it's around about 2 hours, which will be a refreshing shortage from all my previous vascular surgeries, which have all been several hours. The longest one was 10 hours when they put the femoral distal graft in my left leg. So 2 hour surgery, be done by lunchtime-ish, New Zealand time. And then I'm told that you're not expected to do too much for the first couple of days, but that's what the surgeon said. But I've had people say to me they were up and about, and then a day or two later. So we'll see how that goes. I'm expecting to be in hospital for around about 2 weeks. The first week is pain control and that sort of thing, and then mobilisation, and they need to know to discharge you that you can get around on crutches safely and get around in and out of a wheelchair safely. Now, I know I'm going to rock those two things. It's just the pain thing that will be interesting, and whether they can give me drugs that don't make me sick. Neither of those are in my control, so I'm just going to have to try and not worry about it. So, roughly 2 weeks. So that takes us around about up to Labour Day weekend in New Zealand. So that's maybe the 22nd-ish, perhaps, of October. I'm hoping to be out by then because that weekend we actually had a hotel weekend away booked in Wanaka. And I'm hoping that I don't miss that, even though I'll be in a completely different position to the one I expected. Also in those 2 weeks is my birthday, which is a bit crappy. I'll spend my birthday in hospital. Great. Spend my birthday in hospital minus a leg. Great. I've decided I'm going to cancel my birthday from now till evermore because 2 years ago they put me a knee replacement in a week after my birthday. This time they're going to chop a leg off a week before it. So that's it. I'm having no more birthdays. Oh, another thing that happened today. Now here's a thing I didn't even consider. I've had to change my dentist because my dentist is in an old building and it's upstairs, and the only access is a narrow flight of stairs. Now I tried it the other day on crutches with one leg, and the steps are really narrow front to back, very shallow, so I couldn't get my whole foot on the step, and it was a struggle to figure out where I was putting the crutches on my foot because there really wasn't much space. It really felt quite dangerous. So I'm going to have to change the dentist to a dentist that I can actually get to, because I can't get upstairs to go to the dentist. It's a bit rubbish, isn't it? But anyway, back to what I did today. So, both of my lunch breaks, and where was I up to? Yes, 2 weeks in hospital. So I get discharged maybe around about the 22nd-ish, perhaps, of October. And then I'm expecting to be out of action for around about a month or so. And I can't drive until I can stamp on the brake and get in and out of the car on one leg. Well, I proved to that yesterday that I could get in and out of the car on one leg. Now, I know I can stamp on the brake for one leg, but it just depends on how I'm feeling and how the drugs are going and all of that. So, about a month, I reckon. We'll see. Without driving. And that's roundabout as long as I'm going to have to wait for swimming. So, driving and swimming come together. When I'm allowed to drive and swim, then woohoo, we're off, and I will be one-legged swimming till cows come home, because it'll be about the only thing I could still do until all the rest of the things get put in place. I will be wheelchair bound or crutch bound for around about 3 months. They can't fit a prosthetic for about 3 months because of all the swelling and all that sort of thing, and then you'll have to have the stitches out, 2 weeks, 3 weeks or so. So, and it's extensive swelling. When it comes to amputation, extensive swelling. I've seen some others, and yeah, it's really bad. So you have to wear a shrinker sock on the end of your residual limb all the time to keep the swelling down, normally, from what I gather. Excuse me. So, January-ish, I think that means. We're talking about getting a leg. And then a leg takes a couple of months to make a leg, fit a leg, and then you're going to have multiple legs because they have to keep readjusting it to fit you, and then you progress up the caliber of leg. They start off with a really simple one, and then you actually have to learn how to walk again. Actually, now this is what the amputee that I spoke to today said, actually learning how to walk all over again. So lots and lots of physio as well. So February, Challenge Wanaka, that's probably maybe around about the time when they're just about giving me a leg. So I'll have been on crutches for 3-4 months or so by then. And I've spoken to them again, and they've said that if I can't physically get from the lake to the biker, then someone else can run the timing ship for me. So that's great. So all I need to focus on at the moment is driving and getting back into the pool. And then sending my wetsuit off to Christchurch to get a leg chopped off. So that is what roughly we should be expecting in the next couple of months. Back to work. I think it'll be quite a while, because I think I'll have to be walking around on 2 feet before even though one of them won't be mine, before I can actually consider massaging again. So I think it's going to be a long time before I can do that. maybe personal training sooner. And somebody gave me a wee idea today. There is not much in the way of resources accessible for younger people with that are amputees in the way of fitness. So not only has Reps not got any amputee personal trainers on the register, but she says also there is nothing locally that's specific to amputees when it comes to fitness, and you have a whole different set of challenges as an amputee. So that planted a little idea in my brain. I'm going to have a wee think about that, I think, because that could be a really good thing to do. And then think we're done. Oh wait, yeah, I think we're done. So I've got one more of these, and tomorrow's will end with an ode to the leg or foot or something. So you just have to wait and see what that entails. So I've got one more, and tomorrow lunchtime we leave for Dunedin, and then that's the end of that, and I come back a different person, quite literally. So today's been a wobbly day. I've had some tears, I've had some anger, and I've had some feeling not too bad, and it's all been a bit of a mixture, and it's getting more and more like that as we get towards this surgery. It's no picnic, I tell you. Thank you for listening.